Live. I'm Josh Fenton, CEO and co-founder. It is that time of the week, the best time of the week. It's the Mott and Chace Sotheby's International check-in. We've got Donna Simmons. She is, I'm not sure what level of royalty is, but it's some level of royalty that commands Watch Hill. She has other outposts around the world, but Watch Hill is her domain. Donna, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you. Pleased to be here.
Donna, you have obviously one of the most interesting, one of the most intriguing, and the most expensive house on the market in Rhode Island right as we speak, Sandcastle, an amazing estate on the water in Watch Hill. Give us a little overview of that property.
Well, the property is incredibly special, Josh, because it has a beautiful white sand beach. There are many, many beautiful houses in and around Watch Hill and other places around our great state of Rhode Island, but there are very few houses that are lovely and grand and have their own beach. So the house itself is what I call a grown-up house. It's beautifully detailed. It's a little bit of Newport in its grandeur. Smaller, however, and it has some of the most beautiful white sand beach, I would say, on the East Coast.
There really isn't anything else like it that I can think of in Rhode Island that has that degree of view of the water as well as a private beach.
Right. There's certainly nothing else that's on the market that is like it, but even in a village of 436 homes, which Watch Hill has, only about 17 to 18 arguably have this kind of beautiful white sand beach. So it really is like owning a piece of the beach and the Great Atlantic Ocean. It's just gorgeous. And the sea traffic that goes by, meaning the sailboats, is beautiful. Occasionally you'll see the Orient Point Express that goes to Orient Point on the northern tip of Long Island. It's just a beautiful, picturesque spot. And from the back terrace or the beach, you can see Block Island straight ahead, and you can see Montauk off to the right. So it is really a spectacular, sort of one-of-a-kind location.
We tracked down the history of the property, and it is quite remarkable. We could find it tied to tobacco heiresses down in the Carolinas and infamous events all the way to Martin Luther King and Gandhi. I mean, literally, it is a house with just dripping with history.
Right. I really wish the walls could talk, Josh, with the real story. But having said that, it was built in 1930. It was purchased in 1936 by some people actually from Providence.
Yeah.
In 1942, it was turned over to the Catholic Diocese in Providence, and it remained in control of by the church until 2003. So it is a wonderful house that is rich in history. At one point, it was owned by the Reynolds tobacco family, and evidently one of the people who had married into the family was accused of murdering her husband, who was also a Reynolds, but she was acquitted. And so there started the house on a path of intrigue and mystery and excitement. And then, of course, when the Catholic Church took it over, it was a favorite respite for the bishop and for others who wanted the time just to commune quietly, to walk the beaches. So you feel that with the house, as though it has been blessed in some way, shape, or form, which makes it a very happy house.
Yes, that vow of poverty is looking awfully good sitting on that porch having a gin and tonic during the summer. So the crazy world we live in. That house is now on the market for $32.5 million. It is a remarkable property. What's the interest level been?
Well, the interest level we have had, we've been on the market for not quite 2 weeks. It'll be 2 weeks this Saturday. And we have had two showings, and we have one repeat showing that's on the books. So that is very good. There is other interest, and we're hoping that that continues through the summer. And we continue to work on social media as well as other outlets just to get the word to our target audience. So,
Is that audience functionally a New Yorker? Is that the most likely place where that buyer, Connecticut resident, Greenwich area, that's most likely to be attracted? It's just a few-hour commute over the weekends to be in that home?
right. Well, it's a great question, Josh. And as we looked at the potential audience, we looked at New York City and Fairfield County, which, of course, as you alluded to, includes Greenwich, Connecticut. In fact, we targeted some of our advertising in the Greenwich area. So all of Fairfield County is prime. Also Boston. We are beginning to see more and more people who used to go only to the Cape or perhaps up to Maine are now taking Watch Hill in as part of their summer time, so spent. So there is very much that. There's also a national and an international audience. I have received one request and working with somebody who's out on the West Coast of California. So while it is largely in the Northeast, there are other pockets throughout the country and even throughout the world that Sotheby's and we are beginning to target in our marketing and in our social media.
Let me close the loop. You mentioned there's 17 maybe homes like this in the Watch Hill area that have sort of that same grandiose opportunity of coastline living. How many of those have you sold?
I have actually sold two of those in the last probably 3 years. One was 10 Bluff Avenue, which is the highest listed price in Watch Hill of any house that was listed on a multiple listing service, of course. And it does not include Taylor Swift's house, which was a private sale, did not involve the Rhode Island Association of Realtors or the multiple listing service. And that still is the record in Watch Hill, but mine closely follows at 10 Bluff with 17.6 million. So I feel very fortunate to have been a part of that sale.
Taylor's was a private knocking on the door by the young singer. I'm sure she just walked up to the house and knocked on the door and said,
Probably. How much will you take? I think she was represented, but not publicly.
Donna, talk a little bit about the market down there. You know, it is sort of one of those special places on the East Coast. There aren't many of them. You know, you can talk about the Hamptons a little bit. You can talk about Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard. Those are really, in the Northeast, the preeminent locations. What's the market looking like, and where's it go in the near future? I mean, interest rates don't really matter much for folks who are buying homes down in Watch Hill. They're not taking out a jumbo loan, I don't think, too often. Talk a little bit about where you think the market's going to go.
Well, the market is a little bifurcated in that, you know, if a house comes on the market that people see as a good value, then they do snap it up. I had a house on the market that I listed July 4th, the Friday of July 4th weekend, and which I think was probably July 1st. And it was sold. We'd gone to contract within 3 hours on that house, which might be a record. So people have an idea of what they consider to be, you know, special to them and where they want to be. So we've seen that be fairly brisk. At the lower end of the market, we've seen some hesitation. And of course, that probably is the market that is tied more to loan activity. And we still investigate loan alternatives with our clients because there are some 10-1 arms, some 7-1 arms, adjustable rate mortgages that might work in anticipation of them moving on to a second or third home, because we know in this country that people stay in their homes anywhere from 7 to 9 years, with the average being 8 years. So if someone were to get a 10-1 arm, adjustable rate mortgage, that could mean that they would have sold that house before they would have to step up to the plate and step up to the new interest rate. So it is a bifurcated market. I think things are beginning to quiet a little bit, even in the high-end market. But people realize value, and they are picking up the phone and asking to see these very special properties like Sandcastle.
And Donna, I'll let you go on this. I know you've got to run over to Benefit Street. You've got a special property that you're showing over there. Talk a little bit about that. Benefit Street, obviously, one of the most historic streets in America, one of the most remarkable preservation of colonial homes. Talk a little bit about what you're showing over there.
Well, over there we have 259 Benefit Street, which is in Athenaeum Row. It is a condominium that's on the 4th floor, and yes, it is a 4th floor walk-up, but it's really a wonderful, wonderful loft condominium. It's about 1,168 square feet. We have been focusing on social media because as the summer rolls on and the colleges begin to fill up with co-eds, we know that there may be parents who are interested in having a place. They may want their students to have a place and then perhaps rent it out with a couple of other people. There are so many opportunities. And of course, we have university professors coming in, some new, some returning. And we have people who are returning to the sort of the inner city and to more urbane areas like the baby boom generation. This is a perfect unit for that because you not only have a beautiful kitchen with very high ceilings. Ceilings are almost 10 feet. You have a loft in the upper area that's over 24 feet long. You have a separate bedroom, of course, with I think there are 3 closets. There are another 3 closets in the hallway. For a condominium in an urban area, it has a lot of storage. And you come out onto Benefit Street, and as you say, Josh, you were in the middle of everything. It's right, the first corner is College Street. So you go right up the street, you have Brown University. Across the street, you have RISD. Down the street, you have Johnson and Wales. You have PC. There are universities that abound around this beautiful location. And I, for one, love to take strolls down Benefit Street any time of the year because it's beautiful in the fall, the spring, and you do get a little snow in the winter, and that's not so bad.
Donna, it's also a perfect place for a judge. The courthouse is right across the street, or
right across the street.
Yeah, or a reputed mobster who's often in court at the courthouse. There would be another option as well. Donna, you are great. Thank you so much. I'm so glad we had the opportunity to have you on and hear about Watch Hill, Sandcastle especially, just a remarkable history. GoLocal has a story about its legacy. It's really a remarkable story. It took a lot of digging to find all these little tidbits of information. And Donna, congratulations on all your success down there and how you've really set the standard down there as a realtor. So greatly appreciate you taking the time. Everybody else, stay healthy. Enjoy this great cooler weather. We're not in the 95s anymore. We're down the 80-degree margin, and that's a little bit nicer to be living in. And as you get out and get around, make sure you have that booster shot. Stay healthy. Enjoy going out, eating out, dining out, going to concerts, and all the rest. Be as protected as you can be. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.